Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Think Computers Weekly Tech Podcast, episode 269. I'm Ryan, your co-host. That guy over there, nope, that way, is Bob.
That way.
What's going on, Bob?
Who's the guy on the other side?
Where
is the...
I don't worry about that guy. But like always, podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon, any purchases you make after that for a while will help us out, give us a little kickback from Amazon and keep the show going, keep the lights on. Bob was messing with his lights earlier. He's good on lights. He's got natural light. He's got artificial light. He's good to go on lighting. But what's going on?
I'm hoping this blackout. You can't. It doesn't even seem like I have blackout curtains going on.
No, it looks like there would be no such thing.
Yeah, I have half of a blackout curtain right now in front of me, and I hung it up last week after the podcast actually, and it was up for like a whole week. It's like one of those ones that use like suction cups, and if it eventually fell down after a week, I'm like, oh, it's like, it stayed up there for a week. That's like good when I'm shooting and doing the podcast here. And now I put it up right before the podcast, and it keeps on falling. So if it falls, it's either going to fall on the camera.
Temperature related? Maybe because you were saying it was warmer.
Yeah.
So maybe that wall's just heating it up a bit.
Yeah, it might be temperature related. I'm not sure, but I bought two more of these to cover this window, and then there's a window over here so that we can have good lighting for making videos. Which I haven't made a video, and it feels like forever because I haven't got the office set up to do that yet. But it's getting there. But yeah, it's pretty crazy because I have the blinds shut. We have natural light coming in, and I feel like I look real crispy. I feel like I look good. Natural light. If anybody shoots video, natural light is the best light to shoot in. It's the absolute best. But if you're doing videos like we do, you want consistent light, so we darken the room and then use artificial light. But
yeah, you don't want trees and clouds messing with your
exposure
settings and all that. So.
Yeah. So, but in any case, this is a tech podcast, not a video or what, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Podcast. I keep on looking up because I feel like this thing's
going to fall. Yeah.
What surprised me too is, so we were talking about this, is that I am blown away that nobody makes like temporary blackout shades that aren't what this is. So this is so Amazon's one of the only companies. There's like 3 companies, Amazon and like 2 others, that make this. It's basically a blackout sheet that has suction cups on it, but there's no other company that makes like a blind that maybe has suction cups or like a temporary thing.
I think that you could just use like some sort of hooks to go over your existing blinds.
Yeah, there's just like nothing out there, and it's kind of crazy. It's like it's so weird that there's not a solution besides this. It's just odd. Now there's like, obviously I'm renting, like this is a rented apartment. So I can get normal blackout shades, but then I have to install them, take down the blinds that are already in here. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to put something either on the window itself or over it like I have now.
Permanent.
Yeah. And it's just crazy that
just tape up some black trash bags in your windows. You'll be fine. It'll be great.
Yeah. That would just look so bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll eventually get everything situated in the office. But as I said, this is a PC hardware tech podcast. So let's definitely dive into that. Tons of news this week. I got a review done. Finally, you can actually see the system right there. Got the test system up and running, got everything, we're good to go now for testing stuff. So we'll just jump into our first review, which is of the Gigabyte Z590 AORUS Master. And this basically sits at the top of their, basically before you get into like their water-cooled boards, this is like one of the top Z590 boards. And the big thing with Z590 that you're going to get from Z490, we talked about this on our review of the i9 11900K. The big upgrades are really the chipset. So with the chipset, you are going to get Gen 4. You're going to get that across your PCI Express slots. You're also going to get it on at least one. Typically, it's the top M.2 slot. So, X570 on the AMD side had that throughout the chipset, and they've had it for a while. So now Intel is kind of catching up in that realm. You're also getting, which I love, is USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 or 2x2. So you're going to be able to use the fastest portable SSDs out there, up to 2,000 megabytes a second read and write. And that's just from the chipset. You also do get Wi-Fi 6 from the chipset as well. So most of these boards, unless it's like a really cheaped out board that they didn't put the chip in, you're going to get Wi-Fi 6 as well. And we should have an upcoming video where I talk about actually the speed difference between using like something much slower and then, upgrading to Wi-Fi 6, just the speed difference. So you're getting all that in the chipset. So all these boards are really fully feature loaded. And what Gigabyte has done with their Z590 AORUS Master, if you actually look at the Z490 AORUS Master, they almost look identical. And I'm actually a fan of that. Well, one, I like the design of the board, right? It has that AORUS kind of, it's not too flashy. If you go back like 3 or 4 years, AORUS boards were crazy RGB in your face, and they've toned it down a lot. And it just looks like a good professional board. And that's one thing I really like about it.
Looks classy, professional looking. Yeah.
So the overall design of the board hasn't changed all that much. You have their direct touch heat pipe design covering your power delivery components. This is a 17+1 power face design. That's going to be able to handle the i9 11900K, no problem. We had no problems. We had no VRM issues when we went to overclock that chip. No issues, whatsoever, as you shouldn't have any issues. The one thing I did notice about this board is that every one of the main connections on the board is metal reinforced. So all of your PCI Express slots, metal reinforced. Memory slots, metal reinforced. Your 24-pin ATX power connection, metal reinforced. Both of your 8-pin EPS connectors are metal reinforced. So they've done a lot with that. It's just like some boards won't do that. I don't know how much of a difference it really makes, but it's just like quality thing. I think it's just like, it just brings that, okay, these are metal reinforced. Like, I don't know. For me, it's like
sometimes on that 24-pin, right? You like put that on and maybe you have to take it off because you're putting a different cable on or a new power supply, and you're like yanking on that thing sometimes to try and get that off of there. So having that metal reinforcement, I think, is great. At first it did feel kind of like a gimmick, but then you're like, okay, if this is like actually helping hold it on, I feel like I can tug on this cable a little more.
That is actually one good like use case for it. The other one, of course, is with graphics cards. It does help with stability of it's not going to fix the saggy graphics card, but it's going to make it not sag as much per se. So you have that on this board as well. Now, the really big add-on to this board is by the chipset, you would get 2.5 gig LAN, but they've upgraded that to 10 gig LAN, which is a very enthusiast kind of workstation type upgrade, but you are getting that with this board, which is pretty crazy. Obviously we don't have the router I have only has a 2.5 gig connection, so I couldn't necessarily test it, but it is on there. Right up here. So yeah, your 2.5 gig LAN. Now the thing that's kind of weird is it's not dual NIC, which you would expect at this price point. So you're only getting the 10 gig LAN connection, which is kind of weird. But you are getting Wi-Fi 6E. The difference between Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 6E, you're getting one extra band, which is 6 gigahertz. So typically with Wi-Fi 6 or most modern Wi-Fi connections, you'd get 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. And now you're getting 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz. So you're getting the extra band there. Obviously you need devices that will support that, but you get that with this as well. Old Man is in the chat. He said he's just stopping in. Good to see you here. I think we missed you last week. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah. But yeah, good to see you in here. But yeah, Ed, like everything else on the board is pretty much what you would expect. This is a board that is fully wrapped in the aluminum. Again, it's just a premium feature that you would expect from this board. This helps with stability. It just makes it feel like a better board. And again, some of these things are gimmicky, but it does help. And it is, especially around the VRM, you can see right here, there's actually some thermal tape right here. So it is going to help transfer some of that heat from your VRM to the metal as well, which is really good. Another thing I didn't mention is that all three of the M.2 slots, they have the thermal tape on both sides. So they have it on the bottom here, and then when you take them off, they're on the top as well. Most boards that you'll see, actually all, I think 3 or 4 of the other boards I have, they only have the thermal tape on the actual top of the heatsink. They don't have it on the bottom. Again, just something else to keep those M.2s nice and cool. So you have all of that there. Just a solid board. No real issues when it came to anything. You know, all these boards are going to perform pretty much the same. Some are going to overclock a little bit better depending on cooling. So far, I haven't ran into any VRM issues, although I do have a couple boards. One board from a company that we've never reviewed from. We have a BioStar board, which actually looks really good, but I haven't overclocked on it yet. So that's kind of the big test. But yeah, it's just a great board. This board is going to sell for $409.99. And I think it's a good board. I gave it a 9 out of 10 and a recommended. The only weird thing is there's no PCI Express X1 slots. So you're getting 3 X16 slots that they're X16, X8, and X4, but you're not getting that X1 slot. So if you wanted to install, say, like
extra USB ports or something,
or something that would be an X1 slot, you're kind of out of luck there. But I do have to say that, all of those X1 products will work in one of these other slots as well. And if you can actually find 2 good graphics cards right now, but I mean, most people are still going to be using that single graphics card these days anyways. So you do have the X, but it's just weird not to see an X1 slot. But yeah, I like the board. Price, you're paying a lot for that 10 gig LAN. I would like to see this board without the 10 gig LAN. Because I don't think a lot of people, I think, so the new version of the router that I have, which I think is like $400, that might have 10 gig LAN, but I'm not sure because this one has 2.5 gig LAN. But most of the highest end routers will still only have 2.5 gig LAN. So
yeah, the one I just bought has 2 10 gig ports on it, and then now I'm kind of looking at adding a 10 gig or a 2.5 gig at least port to my NAS, so I can pair it up with.
But that one you bought is a very professional product.
Yeah, it's a higher end. Yeah.
It's not like a Netgear, a Linksys or any of those type of things. Like what most what most people I think would have. Even me, a computer guy, like I have a ASUS one, but I mean before that I had a Synology one. Like I'm not a big networking guy, so I think most people, it's going to be hard to find unless you're, again, buying professional stuff. It's hard to find that 10 gig LAN. So
and we all kind of feel like, I was going to say, like most people upgrade like their network and stuff like incrementally. They don't do like an overhaul of everything. So you've got some older Wi-Fi and maybe an older, components. So it's tough to get everything up to a new generation of speeds.
Yeah, for sure. So check out the review. Like I said, 9 out of 10. More Z590 boards coming. I have 4 more. So we'll be doing a lot of testing and seeing what these new boards are all about. And that brings us to Case Mod Friday. And talking about ASUS, this build is ROG themed, but it's not ROG color themed, which we'll bring up here so you guys can see it. Old Man also said in the chat, he looked up what 3080s are going for on eBay, and they're asking $2,000 or more. That's more than I paid for my entire system. So yeah. Old Man is so smart. So we talked about this back. He said back in December when he bought his system, he said in order to get, I think his system has a 3070 or 3080 in it. And he said, I bought a full system just to get the graphics card. And obviously he has the benefits of having the full new system as well. But just like he said, just for the cards now, it's $2,000 or more on eBay, and he paid less than that, or he paid that for his entire system back in December. So I bet he is super glad that he made that decision. I mean, anybody who bought a card when you could feels so smart. You know what I mean? Or like maybe they held on to that like 1080 Ti or something. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just
if you sold your card thinking you'd be able to get one, you'd be kicking yourself, I think.
Yeah, you're running on like a RX 480 or something.
It's whatever you can find on Craigslist or something.
Yeah. So back to Case Mod Friday. This week we have the ROG. I always want to
Is
say
it not Rogtastic?
I thought it was
I don't think it is.
Rogtastic, but it's Roggastic build. This is from SS Mods. He does great work. And this is ROG themed, but it's more of like that blue and silver, which I love. I mean, look how sweet this looks. This is done as part of the Case Mod World Series 2020 with Cooler Master. We've seen a lot of these builds lately. Done inside which case is this? This is done inside the Cosmos 2 25th anniversary edition. Even modded the keyboard with the little hexagonal shapes.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool. Yeah, did all that, which is pretty cool. But the internal layout, you know, so many times, and I know SS Mods does it, and I know Mods by Ben Q does it, where like these two are kind of parallel, but this one's kind of off in its own direction, and this one's, these are kind of off. I kind of like that sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I feel like in this build it works really well. Like
and I think all those angles make sense, right? They all look like 45-degree angles on like that long one going from that back distro, that skinny distro plate at the back, like to the radiator at the bottom. It's a straight across and then 45 degrees down, but then also kind of angled. Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, like you said, the BenQ does that a lot as well. I think this looks pretty sweet. I like that angled radiator there.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about the angled radiator. We've seen like the angled graphics card, but not the angled radiator, not as much. I think it's pretty cool as well. These cases I had so like my test system for years was the original Cosmos case.
I think
because it was so big, and I loved building in it because it was just so big, but it was huge. It was massive. And what was nice is you could actually pick it up by these by the handles. Like it wasn't like, I know some cases, I know when handles were like started becoming a big thing, and then you would pick up your case and the handle would just like rip off.
Or like flexes, you're like, I better put this back down.
Yeah, so these are handles you could actually use.
That top radiator looks so tiny in this case though.
I know, but it's a 360 too.
I know that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I like the back too. He did custom covers on the SSDs, and one says A data and one says B data. So that's kind of funny, and just all the hexagonal shapes throughout kind of carry. Here's what the front looks like.
The window treatment. Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
The custom window type deal right
I wish
here.
It faded out more instead of just being like cut off. I think it would have been cool to have that fade away the pattern, but I think they did a good job. Otherwise. And
then he has the custom. We've seen a lot of this lately with the 8-64 screen. He put a screen in there. Just a great build overall. So definitely check this one out. As I always say, we have our full section of these builds that you guys can check out on the site under Case Mod Friday. So definitely go ahead and check that out. And then giveaways are still happening. I'm still finding stuff to give away. I went through the boxes behind me in the I call it the chest. It's like the chest of hardware back there. But yeah, so we're doing our weekly giveaways are still going on. As I said last week, I'm going to try to continue them going on. Just check out thinkcomputers.org/moving, and we're on week 12. Can you believe we've been giving away stuff?
That's crazy.
12 weeks months in a row. Yeah, that's crazy. So this week we have memory kit, which are very hard to find at good prices right now. Really? So this is definitely one that you want to get in on. One of the guys in our Discord, he's been saying that he can't find a good price on DDR4 memory anywhere. For a while it was like super cheap, but do you remember when that power outage happened?
Yeah, just like what, a month ago or maybe a little more.
We're gonna start feeling that now. Prices are supposed to be going up on memory. Right. So we're giving away a 16 gig kit of the Patriot Viper RGB DDR4 3000. It is the white ones, which look awesome in any build, even if you don't have white components. I mean, these look absolutely awesome. The RGB bleed through in the top is really good as well. So definitely get your entry in on that. Again, it's thinkcomputers.org/moving. Just simple. and check back, because usually every Tuesday I'll launch something. As long as I can find something in here that I can give away to you guys, it will be up on the giveaway page. So definitely check back for all of that. Old Man talking about his pre-built system in the chat. He said it was an i9 10900K motherboard, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and 3080 for 1900 at Best Buy. You're never gonna find that deal anywhere now.
No.
Like, imagine that. Imagine that deal right now. People
It'd
would
be gone. Like,
people would be like, "I'll give you 2,500 for it." Now,
Yeah.
just like now, you can't even get that for, I don't know, like,
I mean, is Best Buy even like restocking systems like that, like CyberPower and
I don't
those
think.
systems,
Well,
or are
the
they
thing is
getting them
that
and the price is jacked up now?
I think that one, I think CyberPower probably has a backup of systems that they personally need to build for their, and
Yeah, their
most of these
customers.
OEMs aren't even getting the cards. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, they're getting like they're getting, say, like a pallet in, and that pallet is already spoken for before it even hits the ground. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's just like, it's crazy. But yeah, Old Man very smart to get that back in December, and I definitely think he's happy. That's a good system right there as well. I really
Yeah.
can't complain about that system at all. So yeah, so let's move into news, and a lot of graphics card news this week. Last week we talked about seeing those shipping crates of RTX 3080 Ti's. It appears that the 3080 Ti will be launching on May 25th. Video cards got a shot of the actual GPU, which you can see right here. So it is a real thing. Again, people have been saying that it's definitely a real thing. As I always said, there needs to be an NVIDIA card in that $1,000 price point. This looks like it's going to be it. And they also mentioned an RTX 3070 Ti that's set to arrive in June. So
Yeah.
a lot of cards, probably not going to be a whole lot of availability on any of these.
Nope.
So yeah,
I mean, as
I
excited
think,
as I want to be, I just can't get too excited.
well, you can't get too excited because not a lot of people are going to get their hands on these cards, at least initially.
Yep.
And a couple stories that we have to talk about too. It's kind of like I'm on the offensive against NVIDIA right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I really like that $1,000 price point, but you're never going to get these cards for unless you somehow random can do it. Because it's going to have the full 12 gigabytes of GDDR6. It's going to be clocked a little bit higher. It's going to fit nicely in that hole, basically between the 3080 and the 3090. But it's just, I don't know who's going to be able to get one. You know what I mean? So we shall see on all of that. Also, I don't know how many of you have heard about the new 6900 XT graphics cards. So AMD initially launched the 6900 XT $1,000 card. Again, it's kind of sitting in that price point where NVIDIA needs to be, and it was like their big dog card. Well, they're releasing a 6900 XT XTX, which is just binned higher, so it can be overclocked. And a lot of their AIB partners, like, they're putting out their highest end card with that bin chip. And one of those is Sapphire, and this is their Toxic RX 6900 XT, or their 6900 XT Toxic Extreme. Which you can see is a kind of hybrid card with a fan, and then it has the AIO 360 mil AIO built in, with their RGB fans, which actually look far better than this render when they're actually fully lit up and everything, because these fan blades are clear, so you'll see more of the RGB in there. I'm just not a fan of the AIO cards. I just think they look clunky, right?
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of them. I can see their appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already going to be overclocked, right, from the factory, and you might even get some more out of it. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that. The look, or I don't know what it is. Because I picture this like going into a system with a CPU with an AIO on it as well, and then now you got these like crossing cable or tubes, whatever. But
Yeah,
it's just never been my thing.
yeah, it's not necessarily my
And like,
thing.
how much faster is it going to be than?
So the toxic boost clocked up to 2730 2730 megahertz and a toxic boost game clock of 2500 megahertz. Well, I don't know what the stocks are on the 6900 XT, but I assume this is gonna be their highest overclock card. So if you want the highest overclock card, if you're not going to do the overclocking yourself, I mean, this is going to be this one, the Red Devil Hybrid Liquid,
the Power Killer card.
Yeah, that one, and then there's one other one. I think ASUS will have one as well. Using it's pretty cool that like. Remember the Lightning card from MSI? That was like the card that everybody wanted. MSI needs to bring that back, but they could bring it like this would be like a SKU that they like you could call a Lightning.
I mean, they had it for the 2080, didn't they?
Did they?
We saw the Lightning at CES. Yeah,
I just remember when like you would get these very specific SKUs and they would make a Lightning card for it, and it was like I remember the one. I don't remember what card it was, but there was only 17 of them ever made. And it was a Lightning card because there was like so many of these specific binned GPUs that they could get the high overclock with.
Specifics,
yeah. And I think this is one of those products. Again, it's not getting as much hype because right now you're not like I don't know how many of these they're not making a ton of these, right? And the chance of you actually getting one is very slim. So that's why like none of this stuff is getting that big of a hype, which is kind of sad. But overall, I think the card looks cool. Just not an AIO card guy. That's just not my thing. So yeah. Also, it looks like AMD could possibly have their own 6900 XTX. So initially we had thought that this specific binned GPU was only for partners to build. Yeah, but somebody posted this interesting photo on a Chinese website that looks like an engineering sample of a 6900 XTX. You can see, and this one's hard to see, but you can see the AIO
water cooled as well.
Yeah, you can see the AIO coming out of there, and it looks like a 140. Right there, AIO. It's ugly as hell. I mean, it's
not my favorite. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you can see there's like this weird light bar.
I don't mind the side look, but the top I'm not a big fan. And no backplate. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's an engineering sample, so this might not be a final design or anything, but it's but yeah, I like this SKU. I really do. It has been a while since we've had. So we see it more now with motherboards. Like you'll see like the ASRock Aqua boards. There's only 1,000 made. Like we haven't seen a GPU that's really there's only a few, right? With a specific GPU that you can't get. Like we've seen recently, like the highest end cards, but they're still the same GPU that you'll find in your own 3080. It's just specifically over. Like this is a specific binned GPU for these, and that's why I like them. But
yeah, it's like the top of the top.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's cool that, and it would be AMD. AMD seems like more of the enthusiast now than NVIDIA to me.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, changing the card or something. I don't know. Not changing of the guard sales wise by any means, especially on graphics cards, but and a lot of other things. But talking about NVIDIA, and I'll tell you why I'm at war. I'm not at war with NVIDIA, but I'll tell you the story and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it. So it appears that NVIDIA is silently going to relaunch their RTX 30 series with new GPUs. So the GPUs will essentially be the same, except they're all going to have a hash rate limiter on them.
Sure. I feel like we've covered this before.
So that was a big thing with the RTX 3060 launch. We talked about it. We talked about how in less than a month it was defeated. And if you're a serious miner, I guess you could do that. Now, NVIDIA is supposed to, from the 3060 all the way to the 3080 Ti, they're going to silently relaunch all of these, not relaunch, but silently just put out a new GPU that has a hash rate limiter on it by some means. We don't know if it's going to be easily broken. We don't know. And internally, NVIDIA is calling this the light light hash rate. Obviously, this is to combat miners from buying the card, but this is really, in my opinion, to get miners to buy their crypto mining cards, their CMP cards, which we'll talk about here in a second. I think that if there's no CMP cards, this never happens. That's my opinion, but I don't know what you think about it.
So you're saying if they didn't come up with those the crypto mining specific cards, we wouldn't even see this? Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, yeah, they just want to. I don't want to say diversify their their sales, but split them up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. Again, it kind of goes back to the whole let me use my card for whatever I want type of thing.
And I've gone on about that for many podcasts about that.
Yeah, I don't. And how much do we believe that these are actually going to be limited? You know that somebody's going to figure out a way to get around it. I almost guarantee. Yeah. I don't know how you would like truly disable it, but yeah, like you said, less than a month. What is it going to be this time? 2 months?
Yeah.
And then we're back to the same point we are now.
Yeah, old man said in the chat, he said miners will find a way around the hash rate limiter. I predict there'll be how-to videos on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, again, this is to me, this is a ploy for them for miners to be like, oh, I don't want to go through that. I'll just buy the crypto mining card instead, right? Which we've talked about will have no resale value after a specific amount of time. Yeah. And again, just like I had said before, I don't like a company putting a limit on what I can do out of the box with my graphics card, right?
I also don't like the trust issue here, right? With the 3060, you're not gonna be able to bypass it. That feels like a blatant lie because it was done so quickly and easily, right? And this time around, is it like if it happens again, you're like, I don't know. Don't say you're going to do it if it's so easily broken or walked around.
And the thing is with this is that these cards will essentially be indistinguishable from what's already out there. So you'll see on the shelf, well, in a mystery land where there's actually graphics cards, you'll see on the shelf a 3080 and a 3080. Same ASUS 3080s. One might be light hash rate, one might not. You don't know. Because the only thing that's changing is the GPU. The actual SKU of the card is going to stay the same, at least according to these reports. So the only thing that's changing is going to be the actual GPU naming. So on a so say like on a 3080, currently a 3080 is powered by the GA102-200. It's going to be powered now by a GA102-202. But the only way to find that out is if you basically open the card up, take the thing apart, take the thing apart, void your warranty, and see what GPU you have in there. And
or you try actually mining.
Yeah, try mining.
Horrible results.
Yeah. So these new cards are supposed to hit the shelves in June. So this is like pretty much a done deal. I'm not a fan. And I think this is only not that I don't think NVIDIA cares about gamers, but they care about their bottom line. They care about their stock price.
Yeah, that's their stock price.
So this is a way for them to, these new mining cards, which I'm sure they've spent a lot of money on, this is a way to make those sales look good and to push sales to that card. If those cards didn't exist, this would never be happening, at least in my opinion. Again,
Shinny was asking about people who don't know about it could get scammed easily on eBay after the cards have been mined with. Well, they probably wouldn't be mined with because if they're rate limited, they're not good for it.
Yeah.
But I get, you know, so unless they were trying to buy one of these cards thinking they weren't rate limited, then yeah.
And that's the thing,
that's
like
a possibility.
how as an aftermarket seller are you
Gotta
like
even you can't what do you do? Open the box, test it out, and verify these things.
yeah, and as a consumer, like I want the one that I can potentially mine with. Like doesn't matter if I'm not gonna mine, like I want the one that I can potentially mine with. Yeah, it's just a crappy situation. I don't think any of this should even be happening. We've seen when we have stories about companies making it, at least trying to make it easier for gamers to specifically buy cards. We've seen the Newegg, what's it called? Shuffle? Is that what it's called?
I haven't paid attention.
So Newegg has this thing. It's like a lottery. Basically, you put in your name, and if you get picked, you get to buy it's a way for Newegg to sell products as well. But like they have a bundle, and if you get picked in this lottery, you have the choice to buy the bundle. Whether it's like a graphics card, a motherboard, blah blah blah. But they all have like graphics. You know, their companies are trying to find ways for you to for gamers to easily get get these cards per se. Shinny said if somebody is using a mining card and then sells it as used once they're done. I mean, people do that all the time. Some people, I have seen listings where people like this card hasn't been mined on, but it's not like a camera, because a camera you can see how many
shutters and
like I don't think on a graphics card you can see
like hours used or like
I don't think there's anything like that. So yeah, I don't know if I'd want to buy like a 24/7 mine graphics card either. But again, at the same time, it's like electronics. I mean, they can run. You don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I've had stuff running for years.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So we have that. Also talking about mining stuff. ASUS will be launching their CMP 40X, which is the next card. So the 30X launched. The 40HX, the CMP 40HX will launch for $699. Somebody got their hands on one and tested it. It looks to get around 43.77 MH. I always don't know what the MH means. It's like micro hashes. I'm just going to say micro
MHS.
Yeah, MHS, which is actually up from 36 MHS, which NVIDIA announced the card would run out. So pretty good. And be $699. I don't.
Okay.
Again, yeah, we're not
if
really excited about these.
Get them, yeah.
Also, now this is cool. I always thought these were super cool when they were out years and years ago. And Bitmain was one of the main companies.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, the Antminers. So Bitmain, which is like they make these massive machines for mining. They just announced their Antminer E9, specifically made for Ethereum mining. It's going to offer a hash rate of 3. I'm going to say GHS is gigahashes. So I'm guessing that's what that means. Do you think that's right?
Sure.
Which would be 3,000 micro or mega hashes, I'm guessing. So basically 3,000, which is pretty crazy. It's
2,500 watts.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's 3. So say like that CM, that like a 3080 or CM. Yeah. So let's see, a GeForce 3080 has a hash rate of 95 mega hashes and pulls a TDP of 320 watts, right? Okay. This thing pulls what would you say, 2,500 watts?
2,500 watts, yep.
And does 3,000 mega hashes. So it's much more efficient. It's much more efficient from their previous miner as well. Which is really nice. Now, they say they compared it to the Phoenix ASIC miner, which provides a mining rate of 2.6 gigahashes, which has a TDP of 3,000 watts. That ranges from $11,300 to $13,700. Considering the E9 obviously gives you that 3,000 mega hashes and is more efficient, it said the price could be anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000, which is crazy. It's a cool piece of hardware. I think this is a cool piece of hardware. I think there's like what 4 power connectors over here. It's wonder how hot this thing gets.
I'm gonna say it's pretty warm.
Yeah. So yeah, so some cool tech coming out of the mining scene. I don't know if it's cool to you guys, but I think it's pretty cool. Not that I would ever get one or use one or anything like that, but it's interesting. So you guys can go ahead and check that out. Also talking about, I was talking about companies making it easier to get graphics cards. That's like everybody's like, I can't get one. So EVGA is opening up basically their graphics card queue to their elite members. Now, being in their EVGA Elite member, I think it's free. It's free, but you have to have bought, I think, 2 EVGA products within a year or something. So technically it's not free. Basically, like when you buy an EVGA product, whether it's power supply, graphics card, motherboard, register the product and you can sign up for the EVGA Elite. If you're an EVGA Elite motherboard, or if you're an EVGA Elite member, you basically are allowed to skip their queue of orders to go to the front, which I'm not against per se.
No, I don't really like you have to have purchased them within a year or whatever, because like if you bought a 20 series when they came out, right, that's much more than a year ago, and you're ready to upgrade. Well, like if you haven't bought something from them recently,
so you have to put in your stuff,
purchased and registered one of the products, box.
Yeah, so it's GeForce 30, GeForce 20, GeForce 16.
Oh, there it is. Option 2 says within 12 months of purchase and registered at least 2 of the. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a way again, they're making it semi easier if you're in the EVGA ecosystem or you've bought a product from them, there's a lot of products like go all the way back to 10 series. I mean, I don't know what any of these. This is like an 8 gig 10 series. I mean, this is like a lot of cards. I mean, you can only had to buy one of these, or like
I'm in that 20 series family. I hope I registered mine. I should.
Yeah, I mean, check. or like their mouse and keyboards. Only one of these you need. So, our power supplies. I mean, there's like 750 watt, 850 watt, 500, 600. I mean, these are products that I assume a lot of people might have, and you only need one of these to get into thing. Also, there's the community involvement, interact on their Twitch and forums to get into it as well. So it doesn't seem like it's the barrier to entry into this elite membership is right. all that hard. It's not like, spend $500 with us or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like either if you bought one of our products probably within the last 3 years, or maybe even later, a couple products, or like I said, I don't know how active you have to be on Twitch or their forums, but the barrier event, if you really want a card, this isn't that all hard to do, and you get to skip the line whenever a card comes out. So yeah, I like it. I'm not against it. So we have the link to the EVGA Elite page if you want to. If you've bought any EVGA stuff in the past 3 years, I would check it out just to even get your name. Out, get your name in there. Then you're like, oh man, like it's like tax refund time. Like, oh, I got my tax refund. Like, I got my stimmy. I'm like ready to spend some money here, and then you can skip the line. So go ahead and check that out there as well. What else we have this week? Oh, DDR5, which is one of the reasons I said it's a hard upgrade right now to either if you're on like Ryzen 3000 series to go to 5000 series, because and then if you're on like especially even Z390 to Z590, it's really hard because for the most part we think that the next generations of those motherboards will be upgraded to DDR5. So it's not like if you buy a Z590 now, in 2 years, you're going to be able to find a processor that's going to slot in there, because the new the new processors are going to support DDR5. Same thing on AMD. So yeah. But in any case, the new specifications came out for DDR5, and I like the speeds here. So base speed,
Dang.
4,800 megahertz, coming out in 2021, according to this little thing we have right here. I mean, you'd expect. I mean, it's an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Z590 by default, I think the default speed is 3,200 megahertz, which is
Common.
so being like a base of 4,800 megahertz, I mean, and going all the way up to, you can see the 6,400 megahertz. I mean, we're going to see a dramatic increase in speed on DDR5, which is going to be nice. I like it.
Yeah, and if you pairing that up with, we know how like Ryzen systems react to faster memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just up their performance. Like this, this is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
1.1 volt. Okay.
This is like this is like this.
Yeah.
Like that's not. I think performance. You might see
higher.
It could be more efficient as well. DDR5 is so it might be more efficient, but I think we'll see like 1.2 volts probably. I don't know, but we shall see. But yeah. I like that base at 4,800 megahertz. You can buy 4,800 megahertz memory now, DDR4, but you need specific motherboards that will support it. Because I have boards that won't support. Like we reviewed back last year, reviewed like a 4,400 megahertz kit, and that we needed like one of the most expensive ASUS boards to even run it. So I'm excited for DDR5. It's like I said, it's something that will come out later this year, more in the mainstream. And again, that I would assume that next Intel chip, launch will launch with a motherboard. I guess it would be Z690 would launch with DDR5 motherboard or DDR5 memory supported. So that's exciting for sure. Also this week, we saw a new case, and we see these every few years. It's mostly from Inwin, but we have it. Inwin's kind of gone off the crazy end with these, but we see these every once in a while. So as of release, this interesting case called the Overdrive. It's engine inspired, which kind of looks like an engine, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to specifically match the engine. I'll go through the pictures here. It has these sort of like gull-wing whatever that have the tempered glass. I believe these are to support radiators up here. Your motherboard goes down in here, and this is specifically made for water cooling. I think your power supply goes down in there. This looks like a cooling or storage bracket. This is a storage bracket right here.
Looks like storage.
I assume it's mirrored on the other side as well. It's interesting. It's all aluminum, which is nice.
Well, and your radiators go on the sides there.
Yeah,
it looks like, how huge? Like, what size fan is that? A 200 millimeter? And if you know how big a 200 millimeter fan is, think how big this case is. It's enormous.
So the radiators so wide. Go over here. Yeah, it's a big.
Where are you gonna put this thing?
I don't know.
Like this would take up half of my desk, and my desk is what, 5 feet wide, something like.
Huge. So supports ATX, all aluminum. Motherboard compatibility, eATX. Sorry.
570 millimeters wide.
Yeah, it's big.
Here.
So the top supports radiators 280,
it's less than 20. It's less than 2 feet wide.
Yeah, the sides only support radiators 360, and the top supports radiators, one radiator up top. 2 brackets. There's a PWM hub on there, ARGB hub. This thing is going to be $599. Expensive. Which I think is, aluminum is fair. Yeah. I don't. You remember the Deep Cool case that was kind of the Tri-Stellar?
Well, and the Quad Stellar? Was it that FS? I do remember the Quad Stellar, yeah. But didn't that FSP case that you looked at have a similar layout to this as well?
That was more no, that was more of an open layout. This is
Okay.
more yeah, this is a little different, but interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, they're neat in concept, but they're just not for me. I do
Yeah.
like seeing builds in them at CES though. Like
Yeah,
all
well,
these
that's
cases,
I mean,
that's where they
this
look
is
amazing. You don't want to see this with just like an
like
ASUS
a
Prime
Bob.
motherboard,
This is like a Bob build. This is
a
like an
Bob build in there,
AIO on one side, so the other side's
or like
completely empty.
or
There's
yeah,
nothing over
that, or
there.
just like a Hyper 212 sitting in there with like
Yeah.
random hardware.
I mean, this is just like the FSP case that I reviewed. They're mostly like they're specifically made for water cooling. That's what this is made for. This is made for those extreme builds, or like if you're a custom builder. There's a lot of modders who are actually custom builders. This is like for a customer. The customer sees this, they're like, oh yeah, like I want this, and they pay somebody to make an awesome hard tubing build inside this, right?
Right.
I think there's a couple pictures on their website of it
with a build in it.
Yeah, I thought I saw. Let's see. Nope. What is this?
A little further.
I'm just going through these ones right here, but yeah, I mean that's like kind of with a. Oh, so the fans go on the outside. That's all they got. They should have a video for this.
Yeah.
And I hate that when companies launch this, there's like that looks kind of cool. That one.
Yeah. Oh, and they're dual video cards on the sides underneath those wings.
Is that what that is?
Yes, because you can see the video hookups at the back.
Yeah, now that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Old man says it's shaped like a V8 engine. Yeah, I mean that's it's engine themed, you know. I do like this whole look with like this looks like I'm not an engine guy, but like I mean this looks like, you know, a canister of like NOS in the middle, you know.
Yeah, you're
or whatever.
An engine guy.
Yeah, not at all. But it looks kind of cool. Yeah, it's like I said, it's made for that custom build. That's just we'll say that. So yeah, very cool. Again, it's $499 or $599, which is a lot for a case.
It's a lot of dollars, but
yeah, it's a one of a kind build. If you're doing not many people, like nobody else is gonna have this case. Like if you have like a Lee and Lee PCO 11 dynamic, like so many people have that, but this only certain people are gonna buy it and they're gonna spend the money and all that. So yeah, very cool. Our last bit of news is gaming related. I don't know how I'm excited about this, but it looks like DICE has given some details to their next new Battlefield game. The general manager at DICE put out a email press release type deal. They're working on new Battlefield game for console and PC. It talks about what teams are working on what games, blah blah blah. It didn't give any new details on what the next Battlefield game will be. They do say the return of all-out warfare. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I haven't played a Battlefield game in forever, so I don't know if that's a game mode.
What was the last Battlefield game that came out?
Was it 5? Battlefield 5?
Yeah, because we had the World War I, World War II, Battlefield 5.
And wasn't that where they were showing off the ray tracing?
Yeah.
Initially, I think.
Yeah. So I think they have a lot to live up to now, especially with the popularity of
Call of Duty
right now, and how Call of Duty, like the online, like the multiplayer is going to be huge. Although I do think, at least for me, I did like the single players in the Battlefield games as well. So yeah, cool stuff. They also said there's a new Battlefield mobile game coming in 2022. I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Battlefield. What did he say?
Mobile?
Yeah, Battlefield Mobile. It's going to be a standalone game, which is nice because we see so many of the ports and they just like don't work well on mobile. You know what I mean? A lot of the times. So this is specifically designed for mobile. Yeah, so that's gonna come out in 2022. So cool stuff coming from Dice, and EA. It's like I said, I like the hype for these new games. I like to play them when they first come out and just like see what they're all about. And again, EA and Dice have been one of the companies that have like shown off new tech. Ray tracing did look sick on Battlefield 5.
It
Like
did.
when it wasn't practical, but it looked sick, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one of those things that's like, oh, look how cool those
Some of the
reflections
reflection
look.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty
like
awesome.
that's so cool. But then it's like, I'm not going to use this in an online environment. But, so like I said, we'll see what Battlefield brings. So yeah, pretty cool.
Don't you guys
And
have phones from Shane?
what does he mean by that?
It's a Blizzard throwback to like their Diablo announcement, I think.
I haven't followed Blizzard stuff in so long. I've just been kind of disappointed.
And I fell off a WoW. I haven't played it in probably a month and a
Overwatch?
half. No, WoW. Like
Oh
Overwatch.
yeah, wow. Yeah,
Remember
it
I was
used to
back on
always be.
WoW and
Yeah.
I haven't played in a while.
Yeah, dude, my WoW days, man, that was a very a lot of hours of my life.
You mentioned
Days.
Overwatch. It made me think about I know this isn't on our list, but like the new
Oh,
stuff we're
we
seeing
should've-
for Apex, right?
Yeah, new Apex.
But the
real-
new Valkyrie, like it almost looks like she has an ability like Pharah's ultimate,
Yeah.
right? She goes up in the air and shoots rockets.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing.
Fun.
Yeah, so new Apex, obviously it doesn't come will it be out by next week? Yeah. So we're gonna be playing Apex tonight. We are, right? I assume. But the new season is kicking off next week and we'll be playing next week. And they've added a new mode, which is kind of like a competitive esports mode almost. Kind of like
3v3.
Counter-Strike, where you start and then you have like money and you buy your weapons at the beginning and all this kind of it's very Counter-Strike-esque. That's what when I saw the trailer,
the
it made the buy screen, it made me that this is Counter-Strike. So yeah. So also next week talking about reviews. So I'm back to reviewing. I'm in the new space, as you guys can see. So getting back to normal, back to reviews. So talking about Rocket Lake stuff, I will be taking a look at the Core i5 11600K. If you listened to the podcast last week, you know that I was a little disappointed with the 11900K, just not a flagship product. So hopefully this is a little bit different. 6-core, 12-thread, 3.9 gigahertz base. It will boost up to 3.9 gigahertz base. It will boost up to 4.9 gigahertz. And of course, supports all the brand new Z590 motherboards. Talking about that, I'll be taking a look at ASRock's Z590 PG Velocita, which sits in their Phantom gaming line. They've done a really good job on this board. Just some of the design changes. ASRock is one of those companies that like every year they do change the design up a little bit, and I do think it works in their favor. If that makes
what does that
any
add
sense.
on there? Is that
I don't know.
a,
That's
like
not
GPU
stabilizer.
Stabilizer or something?
That is not on my board. Maybe it's in the accessories box, but I don't remember seeing it in the accessories box either. So that has to be a
because it looks like something slides or moves. And the only thing I can think of there is like, unless you're trying to route cables, because you've got your USB connections there. But
maybe it's the thing that when I'm looking at this, right? So a GPU would overhang these ports, your SATA ports.
Yeah.
And this doesn't look like it goes above your SATA ports. So for a GPU stabilizer, I don't know. And
unless something bolts onto that.
Yeah, and at the same time, do you want like the weight of your GPU on two screws?
Those two screws, maybe.
That are connected to your motherboard?
But you think about it, those are secured to your chassis.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know,
I don't know. That is not on the board that I have, so I don't know. And I'm 90% positive whatever this is was not in my accessories, like was not with all the accessories either. I can look again, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But we'll find out next week. I already tested it. It's a good board. So definitely stay tuned for this
graphics card holder. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's what it says. Patent pending. Yeah. Maybe they didn't get the patent, or they didn't send it to me. I don't know. We shall see. So if it is in the box, I totally missed it because I don't remember seeing it. So, but I took all the photos of these the week I moved, so it could be just completely, over my head.
Shiny says it's obviously the cable stretcher.
That's what it is. Sometimes you see some weird stuff and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, that is what is coming up next week. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. As I said, we are going to jump on some games. I have a little bit of G Fuel left, somewhat. I got the grape. The grape is so good. I love the grape G Fuel. So yeah, we'll be jumping on playing some Apex. So if you want to follow us after the podcast, just go ahead and load up twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. Ryan will be getting that stream. He will be streaming. I will not be streaming because he got his computer all fixed. So, we didn't talk about if there was anything we did, any tech stuff we did.
Yeah. I'm over there. Hang on. 1 second.
Oh, got away for Ryan.
Last week I talked about getting my new router, firewall, and a camera. So I got all that. I got that installed this weekend. I'm really happy with the camera. Like, it's amazing for a $30 camera.
That's how the Wises are pretty good for $25.
Yeah, but this one's better.
Nice. Well, of course.
Yeah. But then I ordered
$5 extra.
Yeah, it was worth it. Like, I had Ubiquiti access points already, but the ones I have are old, and I didn't really pay attention when I ordered all my new stuff. Well, I can't essentially integrate them into my system. I can't configure them or change them. They'll continue to work, but I can't make any changes or adjustments. And they're older. They're like just they're not even in points. I don't think they were just some G points that I had purchased. So I bought 2 Unify 6 Lite APs, and they came in today. So Wi-Fi 6, dual band, 2x2 MIMO. So nothing crazy, but better than what I had. And then I get all the stats from those once I get them installed. They just came in. I got one of them added to the network as soon as I got home. But
nice. I've just been doing reviews, and I put together a little cart thingy that has my printer and router on it.
I liked it. It looks good. It definitely has IKEA vibes, but probably cheaper, and you don't have to go to IKEA to get it.
It's about the same. It was like, I think I told you it was like $138. It's like a little. It's on wheels. It's a little cart. One side has like 2 large shelves in it, or 1 shelf really, so it's separated into 2 sections. I wonder if I can bring up the photo. Let me see.
Does it have like a door and some drawers? Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was good.
I posted on Facebook. Let me bring up my Facebook. But yeah, it was on Amazon. I'm ordering like furniture on Amazon is very like
it can be risky.
It can be risky, but I didn't see here. Let's share my screen again. So this is what the area behind me kind of looked like. There was like electronics on the carpet, which is never good, but I just did it to get everything set up really quickly. My NAS and a bunch of stuff. There's even 2 boxes of stuff that went in here, and then this is what it ended up being. This little cart thing that I bought. So I have the NAS inside there. I have a bunch of camera. Like I have I have a bunch of stuff charging in this drawer.
Does that have holes in the back for cables?
No, but I made my own, which is the I got, like, again, it was like $3 on Amazon. I got like a little hole thing you just connect to your drill, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like a hole maker. First time I ever did anything like that, so I feel
what they're called, hole
pretty
maker.
Yeah, whatever they're called, like a drill bit. Nice. Yeah. So it turned out really well. I'm getting everything, like my whole thing with this place is just clean and neat and no extra mess. And you can see I still have boxes behind me. It's getting there. Like, we're, slowly. I want to get some shelves to like display some of the custom keyboards that I have and some of like the display boxes, but I just haven't ordered that stuff yet. I'm trying to figure out what's going to fit and where things are going to go. But everything is kind of like coming back to normal, as far as like getting reviews done and getting content out to you guys. So cool. So yeah, so let's jump over to Twitch again, twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. I want to thank everybody for listening, everybody who's in the chat. Obviously, it is a good time every week to talk with you guys and talk tech. And we will see everybody